Your dad is pregnant. Your father shakes his tail and pumps you out of his body, and then you're here. 20 millimeters long, silver and black, blinking in open water off southern Australia. Your father drifts past, and you almost miss him. He looks exactly like a dead piece of kelp. You look like a fish. A small, silver, completely visible fish. Only 1 in 20 of your siblings survives to adulthood. But how this one dies, you won't see it coming. First hours. You need to eat. Already. Right now. Here's the problem. You have no stomach. Not a small one. Literally nothing. Your insides are a short, straight tube. Food goes in, rushes through, comes out in hours. You cannot store energy. And the only way to stay alive is to keep running it. Miss a few hours and your body starts failing. Miss a day and you're done. Your hunting tool is a long tube where a mouth should be. No teeth. Right now, it barely works. You're chasing microscopic zooplankton. Spinning, transparent specks. It takes 40 of them to feel like anything. You're still hunting when the water goes dark. A shadow, rising from below, fast. A juvenile leather jacket reef fish about your size, but built like a blade, rockets up from the kelp and locks eyes on you, 6 inches away. You can see the inside of its mouth. You do the only thing your body knows. Freeze. Go stock still. Hang in the water like a dead thing. The leather jacket watches. 1 second. 2. A surge of current bumps it sideways. It looks back, and you're just debris now, nothing worth the energy. It drops back into the kelp. You don't move for 4 full minutes. Then you go back to hunting. Because you have no choice. The treadmill doesn't stop for close calls. You need to reach that kelp. The kelp is 40 meters away. You move at 150 meters per hour, roughly as fast as a person shuffling very slowly across a room. Every predator on this reef moves faster than you. Every prey item that gets scared. Every current. You were not built for running. You were built for not being seen. And right now, everything can see you. Weeks 2 through 12. Skip forward 10 weeks and the disguise is finally arriving. Tiny nubs push through your skin along your sides, your neck, your head. Each one starts as a bony bump, and slowly, so slowly extends and flattens into a shape that has no business growing on a fish. Broad, tapered, kelp leaf shaped. Your own body growing you a costume that took evolution millions of years to design. But it's only half grown. You're still visible. And this is the part nobody prepares you for. You're hovering against a kelp blade, when a large banded sea perch starts rising from the seafloor below, 6 times your size, vacuuming up whatever small things it passes. And here's the cruelest thing about your own biology. When you're scared, your skin changes color. Not on purpose. The stress hormones flood your system, and the pigment cells shift kelp green, darkening and brightening toward yellow. The disguise that's been keeping you alive breaks apart from the inside when you need it most. Fear makes you visible. The more terrified you are, the easier you are to see. The perch rises. Your color is changing. 4 feet below you, it looks up and sees something a little too bright, a little too wrong. It tilts upward. You break and swim, hard as you can, which is not very hard, and crash into a dense kelp cluster and press flat. The perch circles twice. The kelp is thick enough. It sinks back down. You stay there shaking for an hour. Shaking makes the color worse. You understand something you'll carry forever. You cannot be afraid. Not ever. On a reef where there is always something to be afraid of. Year 2. Skip forward to your 2nd year, and you are finally invisible. Dozens of leaf-shaped growths drape from every part of your body. They move with the current. They layer exactly the way real kelp layers. Your 2 eyes move independently like a chameleon's, each scanning a different half of the ocean at once. You've watched a wobbegong shark settle on the seafloor 15 feet away without noticing you. You've watched a sea lion pass within 2 body lengths and keep going. Then a giant Australian cuttlefish drifts out of the sand cloud 8 feet away, and the bottom drops out of your world. Cuttlefish see in polarized light, light that bounces differently off living tissue than off actual plants. To every other animal on this reef, you look like seaweed. To a cuttlefish, you look like a fish-shaped outline pressed against seaweed. Your disguise has a hole in it, and the cuttlefish found it. It drifts closer. 4 feet. 3. Feeding tentacles coiling tight. You go perfectly still. Let the current move you exactly the way it moves the kelp. Do not be afraid. Do not let the color shift. 2.5 feet. A rockling darts out of the kelp to your right, startled by something below, and catches the cuttlefish's eye for 1 second. You let the current drift you 16 inches left. You stop. The cuttlefish looks back. Drifts forward once. Sinks toward the sand. Your color shifted 2 shades lighter from 4 minutes of pure terror. Takes 2 hours to come back. You're alive. But you now know, there are things on this reef that see straight through the best disguise in the ocean. You cannot outrun them. You can only hope they blink first. Year 5. The dance. Skip forward and you've been completely alone for years. Your species drifts solo across small patches of reef, rare enough that weeks pass without seeing another of your kind. You cover the same few hectares of water, over and over the same kelp beds, the same rock lines, the same currents like a ghost that haunts one small corner of the ocean. Your entire species exists only along a strip of southern Australian coastline, nowhere else on Earth. So when a shape in the kelp ahead moves in a way that kelp doesn't move, you stop everything. A female, slightly larger, her leaf appendage is longer, her coloring richer. You approach, and your body starts doing something it has never done before. You spiral together, snout to snout, rising and falling through the water column in perfect synchronization. Colors intensify. Your tail turns vivid yellow and begins to glow. That glow tells her exactly where to deposit the eggs. The dance lasts 3 days. You don't eat. You have no stomach. You are literally consuming yourself to earn the right to reproduce. On the third day, she deposits 200 eggs into the skin cups on your brood patch. Your blood vessels press against every shell. You'll breathe for all of them for the next 8 weeks. She leaves without looking back. You disappear into the deepest kelp you've ever entered. Pregnant. Exhausted. 6 weeks to go. Week 6. The twist. 42 days in. The eggs have shifted from pink to deep purple. The embryos inside are almost fully formed. 2 weeks left. You can feel them moving small pressure against your brood patch. You are almost there. Then the water changes taste. Something wrong carried on the current from the west. Billions of microscopic algae cells blooming at once across 5,000 square kilometers of South Australian coastal water. The worst red tide this coastline has ever seen. Your gill slits are clogging. Each breath pulls a little less. You pump harder. The extra effort burns through energy you don't have. And here's the part that makes escape impossible. You move at 150 meters per hour. The bloom is 5,000 square kilometers. There is nowhere to go. You can only get slower and weaker while it stays exactly the same size. On day 3, your snout stops working. You snap at a shrimp drifting past your face. Nothing happens. The vacuum doesn't fire. The shrimp hangs there and swims away. Without suction, you cannot eat. Without eating, your no-stomach body has hours. And then you feel the signal you were dreading. Your own body sends its stress hormones spiking, oxygen collapsing, and your brood patch responds the only way it knows how when everything is failing. Let go. 3 seconds. One full body contraction you cannot stop. 183 eggs, 42 days of work, 3 days of dancing, 5 years of surviving just to get here released into the current, all at once. They spiral down. Deep purple against the kelp. They settle on the seafloor. They needed 2 more weeks. They don't get 2 more weeks. The end. Your gills are almost fully blocked. You drift upward not by choice, just because you can't fight the current. Your color is pale and wrong. Your leaf appendages still wave perfectly in the surge. You still look like seaweed. Survey teams counting the dead will record thousands of leafy sea dragons, the worst mass mortality of the species ever measured. At sites where 30 sea dragons once made a good day, 3 is now lucky. No aquarium on Earth has ever successfully bred your species in captivity. When wild numbers fall, there is no backup. The current carries you toward the surface. Your appendages, the ones that fooled sharks and sea lions and everything except a cuttlefish with polarized eyes, drift gently in the water. To anything watching, you look exactly like a piece of dead seaweed letting go of the reef. Which, now, is exactly what you are. You survived open water as a naked silver hatchling. You grew a disguise from your own bones while the reef tried to eat you. You survived the leather jacket, the color betrayal, the cuttlefish that looked straight through the greatest camouflage on Earth. You found a mate after years alone. You danced for 3 days without eating. You carried 200 eggs for 42 days, 2 weeks from the finish line. Your own body dropped them. Your leaf-shaped appendages were boned all along. And the ocean, in the end, always knew the difference. But believe it or not, there's an animal with an even worse life. Watch that story next.